The ancient city of Helios rested under a blanket of stars, but within the marble barracks, young Pyramus could find no peace. Moonlight glinted off the object of his fierce pride and consuming worry. His father Euro's sword. Sunsteel. It wasn't merely steel. It was legacy forged generations ago, carried by heroes. It symbolized the unwavering honor of his family. Pyramus had sworn his service to the wise King Theron, dedicating himself to protecting the realm. Believing Sunsteel was his very soul, made manifest. Its weight at his hip felt like the anchor of his identity, a constant reminder of the duty he owed to his ancestors and his king. He polished it nightly until his reflection shone back, clear and sharp, hoping to see the unwavering hero he longed to become. Staring back one crisp morning, tasked with scouting the northern passes for signs of restless mountain tribes, Pyramus rode out with his usual vigilance. The journey was arduous, the path rocky and steep. Near midday he dismounted to let his horse drink from a rushing, ice-cold stream cascading down the cliffs. Leaning carefully against a moss-covered boulder, he unfastened Sunsteel, setting it down momentarily to cup the clear water in his hands. The chill was bracing. Clearing his head, he splashed his face, the droplets sparkling like diamonds in the high-altitude sun. But as he turned, ready to retrieve his blade and continue, a wave of pure, icy dread washed over him. The rock where Sunsteel had rested was bare. Frantically, he scrabbled in the moss, peered into the churning water, scanned the treacherous slope below. The sword, his birthright, his very purpose, was gone, vanished, as if swallowed by the mountain itself. The journey back to Helios was a blur of crushing shame and gnawing fear. How could he face the king? How could he explain losing not just a weapon, but centuries of honor? Days later, ragged and hollow-eyed, Pyramus stood before the gleaming throne. King Theron, his face lined with concern, listened gravely as Pyramus confessed his catastrophic failure. His voice thick with unshed tears, he kept his gaze fixed on the cool marble floor, unable to bear the disappointment he imagined in his sovereign's eyes. He spoke of the stream, the mossy rock, the terrible moment of realization, the fruitless hours of searching. The weight of his perceived inadequacy pressed down on him, heavier than any armor he had ever worn. He felt stripped bare, unworthy of the uniform he still wore. Silence hung heavy in the grand hall. After his halting confession, Pyramus braced himself for dismissal, exile, or worse. Then King Theron spoke, his voice surprisingly gentle. Pyramus, he said, a misplaced blade, even one steeped in history, does not erase the loyalty I see in your eyes, nor the years of faithful service you have given. True worth is not found solely in steel, but in the heart that guides the hand. The King Theron's words were like a salve, unexpected and profound. Instead of punishment, Theron offered him a humble position tending the palace gardens, a place to reflect and heal. Tend the living things, Pyramus, the king advised softly, learn their quiet strength. So Pyramus traded his gleaming armor for simple linen tunic and trousers, his sword calluses replaced by blisters from the wooden handle of a hoe. He knelt in the rich earth beneath the vast Helios sky, learning the rhythm of the seasons, the needs of each plant. He nurtured fragile seedlings, pruned unruly vines, and coaxed vibrant blooms from the soil. The work was physically demanding yet strangely calming. Sweat stung his eyes, dirt ingrained itself under his fingernails, and his muscles ached in new ways. Slowly, the frantic edge of his shame softened. He discovered patience in the slow growth of an oak sapling, resilience in the weeds that persistently returned, and a quiet pride in the beauty he helped create. The rigid posture of the soldier began to ease one balmy afternoon. While pruning roses near the palace's outer wall, Pyramus heard a sharp cry of terror. A small child, chasing a brightly colored ball, had stumbled through a gap in the crumbling stones near the old watchtower, and was now clinging desperately to a precarious ledge high above the courtyard below. Panic surged through the gathered servants. A ladder would take too long without a single thought for his lack of armor or weapon. Pyramus moved his gardener's muscles, hardened by months of labor, propelled him upwards. He found handholds in the ancient stonework, his strong fingers gripping the rough edges, his feet finding purchase where others saw only smooth wall. Years of disciplined training and newfound agility merged as he scaled the wall with astonishing speed. Driven only by the child's peril. Reaching the ledge, Pyramus stretched out his hand, his voice calm and firm amidst the chaos below. "Take my hand. I have you." The child, tears streaming down dusty cheeks, locked eyes with him for a terrified instant before grasping his forearm with surprising strength. Pyramus braced himself, his legs finding solid footing, his back against the sun-warmed stone. Carefully, steadily, he pulled the trembling child to safety against his chest, clutching the boy securely. He descended just as carefully, his movements deliberate and sure, reaching the solid ground of the courtyard. He knelt, gently setting the sobbing child into the arms of its frantic mother. Cheers erupted, but Pyramus simply stepped back, his rough gardener's hands shaking slightly, his heart pounding not with fear, but with a profound sense of rightness. He had acted decisively and bravely, guided not by a blade, but by his core. News of the gardener's daring rescue reached King Theron before Pyramus had even washed the dust from his hands. Summoned once more to the throne room, Pyramus stood quietly, head held higher now, no longer burdened by the ghost of the lost sword. King Theron's eyes held a deep warmth. "You see, Pyramus," the king said, his voice resonating with quiet triumph, "true valor doesn't reside in the metal you carry, but in the spirit you embody today. You wielded courage itself, and it shone brighter than any Sunsteel ever could. Your father's true legacy isn't a sword lost to a mountain stream. It's the strength and compassion living within you." A profound peace settled over Pyramus. The crushing weight of his failure finally lifted, replaced by the quiet understanding that his worth was his own. That night, Pyramus slept deeply for the first time since losing the sword. The cool sheets were soft against his skin. The scent of night-blooming jasmine drifted through his open window, and he dreamed not of gleaming blades, but of sunlit gardens and the simple, enduring strength found within a caring human heart. The misplaced sword was forgotten. He had found something far greater.